Good day, everyone. Welcome once again to Thursday Talks. And today's discussion would be different naman for the past few weeks. It's all about finance, sales, and um, a little bit of mostly focused on the money or financial aspect. So, but in today's episode, it's different. I invited a friend, a very good friend, who I met siguro when 3, 4 years ago when we met during my stint with Film Life. Doon kami nagkakilala. He was also there back then. Kasama rin siya sa Film Life group namin. And now he's a life coach, a very successful life coach, and he's the founder and CEO of LifeKite. Please welcome Mr. Bam Santiago. Hi, Bam.
Morning. Hi, JJT. Jeremy, thanks for having me, and hi to all
Thanks
your
for,
viewers and listeners.
thanks for accepting the invite. It's been a
My
while
pleasure, bro.
since we really had a chat, and so it's nice to connect rin. So yun
Same, likewise.
siguro it's a blessing na rin that I'm able to do this, to connect rin as well to people who I haven't really connected with for the past few years maybe, diba? So it's been a
Yeah.
while, diba?
Yep.
So how are you?
Oh, I think given the circumstances, with what's happening, I think of course here in the Philippines and all over the world, I'm doing pretty okay, or pretty amazing. I could even say I'm just grateful. I think I'm in a space of gratitude. And since you introduced me as a life coach, nga sabi ko parang all these years of sharing what the importance of mindset, the importance of gratitude, and the power of choosing uh, how to experience life regardless of circumstances. It's all paid off, especially during the past 3 months, where it's been incredibly difficult for a lot of people. But I'm grateful that I've been in a space, I would say, where I'm able to connect to more people and help more people more than ever. So I'm just really grateful.
Yeah, kasi like I was telling you kanina, it's easier to connect now, right? Although there's no
Mm.
physical connection maybe, but at least being able to have the technology to connect with people, mas parang feeling ko mas marami kang makakonect with. Especially I see you go live every now and then, minsan twice, thrice a day. And
Mm.
there are people messaging you, connecting with you as well. So parang it's easier now. And sabi ko, although medyo times are really hard, but there's still a lot of things to be grateful for, especially yung mga
Super,
ganitong times. Diba? So,
super.
how long have you been doing coaching?
Professionally for almost 10 years now. Um, I started, I think, back in 2010, pero informal pa. Like I was just attending some seminars. But the first sort of like coaching seminar I attended was back in 2006. But I was exposed already to personal growth stuff back in 2001 pa with Sina Chinkitan.
Yeah.
I was in a group with Chinky before. We were going to the same church, so I got to spend some time with him, attend some of his programs when I was still young, and would also watch Francis Kong. But at the time, I was still involved in music, so I never got into it as a profession. Never ever thought about doing it as a profession. But I remember watching Chinky before. I'm like, wow, he's such a good speaker, and but I was always sitting at the back of the room, and I also a lot of insecurities, a lot of pride, a lot of fear, and it never crossed my mind until 2006. I got my auntie enrolled me to a seminar, and but still, even after that, bro, hindi pa din ako na, I still didn't do it professionally. It
Uh,
wasn't until after 4 years that I I wrote it down like in a vision of mine. I said I wanted to help people, and yeah, since then I've been doing it ever since.
but you mentioned you were in music. Ano ka? Like you were
I
uh,
was an acoustic guitarist.
guitar. So before, since yun talaga yung focus mo was all music.
I love music. I just wanted to play music. I thought I was gonna play music my entire life since I was in pretty much high school. But college, I didn't really play music. But right after college, We had a lot. Ito alam to ng mga dating medyo mga kapanahon ko. Like we were playing with Side A when they were still at the height of their career. That was one of our first gigs ever. Bago we weren't even 1 year as a band, and we had an opportunity to play with them. South Border, yung mga, they're
Talaga?
I guess now considered the older band. Yeah, so we were very blessed to be able to play back to back with a lot of these really great musicians back then. Freestyle who
Those were
sang ano yun, before. Yeah.
those were the days na na these bands were really kumbaga the peak or the height of these
I,
types of bands. Were those the days?
Yeah, bro. I mean, those days were amazing. They were so much fun to play in a band. To travel all around the Philippines. We were also able to go abroad, but it's fun. Staying in hotels with your bandmates, playing mini concerts and back to back, like I said, with these amazing bands. It was always fun. The food, yung lokohan namin, masaya sa banda, bro. Kaya lahat ng kalokohan, alam ko din. Lahat ng, I mean, that was my industry for the longest time. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess we all, well, not all, but somehow we evolve and we change. But I was very grateful to be in that industry for a long. I really enjoyed it. It's so fun performing songs, not as a singer, as a guitarist, and entertaining people and stuff like that. So yeah.
Pero what made you like in 2006? Were you enrolled because you really want to be part of it, or were you like forced into? Kasi some of these things, di ba, parang at the start, because I've been through yung leadership trainings as well, di ba? And
Sure.
when I started, it was like I was parang forced to attend. Alam mo yun? Parang
Yeah.
hindi ko talaga, it wasn't planned. It wasn't voluntary. Well, at least yung thinking ko, ay sige, because it's my friend who invited me, I'll just go. Was it the
Yeah.
same for you, or you were really
Well, one of my biggest struggles at the time was money. So for sure I didn't have any money to attend any seminars. I think it was like kind of like I don't know, $150 at the time back in 2006. So like that was a lot of money. So my auntie sponsored me to attend a 2-day program, and so sabi niya, if you're free this weekend, just attend. What is it about? Like just attend. I never even knew that there was anything like that experience, but I attended with my vocalist. So pareho kami. We were both pretty much impressed or struck by the content, by the flow, and it just felt good. Sabi ko, like I didn't quite understand what it was, but it felt nice.
Yeah.
It talked about, being a more responsible human being. It talked about creating better results in life. And I'm like, well, I never heard this before. Perhaps in some of the books that I read in college, but to see it in a seminar setting, like I said, it was so interesting. Kasi you could say we were forced to be there. But the very next weekend, kaming dalawa ng vocalist ko, we volunteered to be staff support right 1 week after. I mean, it was such an impact. So 1 week after, naka-suit kami na oversized suits, in that seminar. And it was, I think what I liked about it was the fact that it was supporting people in their life journeys. And I didn't still understand it at the time. I just said, this feels good to be in this space. And like I said, I didn't understand what it was. But looking back now, it was really just wanting to help people make life better.
And yung mga ganung sessions kasi, there's really a high when you attend, right? Parang you feel there's a different feeling when you're in that room together with other people who pretty much have the same mindset already as you. So parang there's always that positivity. So parang you'll get hooked talaga. So that's why I could understand na you'll staff and help out as well.
Yeah. That class was, I think we were 100 plus nung class na yun, 100 people. So imagine kahit ganun kalaking kwarto, the impact. But also, I guess obviously there were also people who were not impressed by it, people who were not impacted by it. But for some reason, I was impacted by it. I liked it. But again, it's still not also the start of my career yet. It wasn't until 4 years after. Tuloy-tuloy pa din ako nag-music noon at the time.
So hindi talaga siya, you didn't transition kaagad from that point?
No. I mean, I did the level 1. Not yet. They call it the level 1 program, which is like basic. And then I did the level 2 program, I think 2 weeks after. Sabi ko, I want to do all these programs, maybe I'll discover something. Sabi ko, why not?
Yeah.
And then right after that, I did the level 3 program. Someone paid for my program, which is like $500 naman.
Sunod-sunod yun.
So a lot of people are, sunod. I just went through the whole thing. And I'm very grateful that I did, because it was like, I'm not a seminar guy, you know. Like I was very happy-go-lucky. I just wanted to play music and hang with my bandmates, and talk about stupid things and laugh all the time. But it was something different there. So it was explored. My auntie at the time was asking me to facilitate with her for some program she was doing for teenagers. Sabi, Bam, I can see you'll be really good at this. I'm like, me? Nope, never. I don't want to speak in front of people. Like, I just want to play music.
So
Until I think 2000. Go ahead.
You didn't attend that, yung parang facilitating the teenager, yung training for the teenagers?
No, I didn't. I just attended one of her get-togethers at her house, Forbes, where she was serving food and the teenagers were there. But I never said, like, Tita, I'll. And she was telling me about. It was pretty amazing. What she was saying, Bob, we go to Palawan, we go to El Nido, and like, wow, it sounded cool, but like I never really got into it until 4 years later, where I was also again with my auntie doing what we call a mastermind meeting. Just a group of people getting together and talking about life and goals. And it came out in one of our mastermind meetings that I wanted to become a facilitator. So it was, I took my program 2006, but it was not until 4 years later that I wrote it down. And it was not until 2012, 6 years later, that I actually got into formal training as a coach.
What was the turning point for you? Like, what was the parang aha moment na, okay, I think I want to take this more seriously and focus on this?
I think there was like a shift in my life at the time after playing, doing music for 10 years. There was a time where I was just, I don't know, maybe I felt I was not growing anymore in my music because of just my mindset, which I didn't know it was called mindset. I just felt like I wanted more, or to experience more in life, or to get out of that box maybe. And then I would already start watching mga T. Harv Eker, like these authors and trainers. I would watch some Tony Robbins. I would watch, a lot of speakers and authors and trainers like Zig Ziglar, Les Brown. I would just start consuming content online. And then there was one instance where I think I was able to watch Tony Robbins. He was coaching a teenager who was suicidal and 13 years old, tried committing suicide, and she was crying. Tony was doing like work with her. And I found myself parang umiyak din ako, like I didn't know why I was crying. And I felt so connected to the work that he was doing. And I said, I think I want to do that like for the rest of my life, which is help people like in that capacity the way he did. And imagine mo to, like music. And then after music, I became an English tutor. I started teaching Koreans online to make money, and then from there, I thought, like I was just going to be a teacher my whole life. I didn't know when I was teaching my students and their parents, I was also coaching.
Yeah.
Because they were already asking me stuff about life, and for some reason I was able to answer quite well. I don't know where, just was able to give them some help. And then when I watched that video, I started writing down my vision, and I started meeting people who helped me, staff and train to be a coach, and I haven't looked back since.
So what's about like coaching that you like best?
Just help. Gusto ko ng bro. I like the deeper part of coaching. I love talking. I love it when it's an emotional process. Because I think we all know there's a quote that goes, if how-tos were enough, we would all be skinny, rich, and happy. Meaning we all know, the technical stuff, where they say, even with finance, diba? They say it's 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. We've heard this over and over again. It's the same in life, I say. But to be able to go into the psychology of a human being, it's important to dive into the heart, where people get to feel, like ikaw as a father, the emotion of when you remember seeing your child born, and that you being a father, it's still always about emotions. Yeah. It's not like you saw your child, okay, I therefore conclude now I'm a father. And technically speaking, it's not like that. It's like there's a lot of love, there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of connection.
Yeah.
Bonding and stuff. So it was that. When I see that with people, that really, I mean, that really lights me up to see people go through transformation, and it's not just that instant grow in the seminar, to see them continue to change. So
Yeah.
I've been connected with a lot of people from the programs from before who are still continuously changing, and they're just living amazing lives. So that's that's for me. That's the biggest, I think, reward that I get.
Yeah. Iba rin yung when you see, because parang, parang we were trained to be very mental, di ba? Throughout our life with the education and all. Parang yung mindset natin was always mental, mental, mental. That we forgot
Absolutely.
how we feel or get in touch with our feelings, di ba? So parang yun din yung mga nagustuhan ko with some of the trainings. Parang kasi ako very analytical, ako very
Yeah.
logical. Ito yung,
But I must say, Jeremy, I'm very analytical. I'm
oh,
very logical, man. I'm super. Kaya nga minsan when I was started by training, napapagod sa akin yung mga tao. Because if they ask me a simple question like you're asking me now,
yeah,
I would always first calculate, and I have to, and napapagod, they're literally getting tired. Because instead of just giving an answer, I have to calculate and process muna so long
yeah,
until I just learn to be more spontaneous. I
yeah,
learned to be more, not to care so much about, be saying the right things. But
yeah,
it's part of my growth because I'm an introvert by nature. I'm very introverted. So
yeah,
imagine to be able to talk in front of people. It was really, that's what sabi ko nga, it's so interesting to see how we can grow as human beings out of our comfort zone, to be stretched. And if we're only willing and open to see life from another perspective, it's very beautiful. Because na-master ko na yung analytical side eh. So sabi ko, what about watching people who are very spontaneous and they just laugh out loud all of a sudden? Sabi ko, wow, I'm not like that. And then when I learned it and explored, it's kind of fun also. I said, so it's more of like I can switch on and off, and enjoy both aspects of it.
yeah,
Yan.
yeah. Yun din. Same ako. Like, very mental din. Pero there's always this good feeling when you can just be you without thinking too much
Yeah.
and speak from the heart or be vulnerable and then just be honest and ano. Kasi minsan we're overthinking too much. And that's when
Yeah. It,
sometimes it stresses me out eh. No? Parang, am I overthinking?
absolutely.
Just go with what I feel or ano. Parang dun
Yeah.
mahirap eh.
And ito like I had the personal experience with this. So some people would say, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with with thinking. Of course there isn't. I'm a thinker. That's my default as a thinker. So that's why I get to process a lot of things and learn. But also I think the struggle for me was overthinking. And I think for many of us who are overthinkers, we have a tendency to be very hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. And when we're hard on ourselves, we have a tendency to be hard on other people as well because we're over processing so many things. And then going back, ang ganda na sinabi mo, Jeremy, na, but we were raised to be very mental. Yeah. But sabi ko, those events in life, bro, where when it hits you and you're not prepared, it's an illness, it's a death in a family, it's a loss of job, it's an accident, loss of your income, and that gets you emotionally.
Yeah.
But if you're not prepared to process that stuff, man, you would have a breakdown.
Yeah.
And I've seen many people breaking down. First, they break down emotionally, or they're mentally, emotionally, and then it becomes a physical breakdown. And people are saying, so what's the point of all this emotion, Bam? Well, because I've seen people going through depression, brother, because they couldn't process things anymore. Why? They were not given permission to feel the emotion. So, but like I have a conversation, how are you feeling? Oh, I feel happy. How are you feeling? I feel grateful. How are you feeling? Bam, I feel very, very sad. I feel very, very bad. But to give people an opportunity to talk about emotions, it's very empowering. We call it emotional literacy, where a lot of us don't know. We have what they say, it's false emotions, pseudo emotions. We think they're still emotions, but they're not. For example, I say, I feel rejected. Feeling rejected, it's not an emotion.
Yeah.
People don't know that. Like, I feel betrayed. Wait, that's not an emotion. So, it's getting mixed up. It's getting mixed up. So to be able to help process people, to feel again, kaya nga sabi ko there's a funny, can't remember if it was a TED Talk where they said, like, imagine being in a relationship, Jeremy, where it was just intellect. Like someone asks you, do you love me? Of course I love you. How do you know? Well, let me count the ways. Number one, then you're just calculating, and you're parang, no, I mean, you can't be in a relationship. Like, people want to feel it. People want to feel like expression of some kind, which is the love language. It's either the time or the affection,
Yeah.
but it's always feeling a connection with you. But same thing when you're bonding with people that you love, like your daughters or children or your father. If you have that connection, I think it's those beautiful moments. As a matter of fact, uh, Harvard's longest study, I think it's still ongoing until now. They talked about what made the most meaningful lives for people, like in a lifespan. What made it the most meaningful for an individual was not the stuff that they had, was not the titles that they had, was not the income, was not the car, was not their zip code. It was about the quality of the relationships they had.
Yeah.
Meaning those who had the most connection, and of course connection, there's emotion there, there's a level of vulnerability and authenticity. They were the ones who lived the longest and the happiest. And that's why, and you've heard this also, diba, sa mga trainings. He said when you're in your deathbed, you're not calculating a lot of other stuff there, like what should, although sadly a lot of people still cannot go to their heart kahit mamamatay na. And that's very sad, where you'd like to hear your father say, I'm proud of you, or
Yeah.
I love you, or I'm happy I was able to. But the moment that you lose them and you still cannot even express that, that's quite painful for a lot of people. So, the seminars I do is just to help people, I guess, process. You're a human being. You're not a human doing. But we forget, because it's always one task after another. It's always to do this. It's always what's on social media. I have to have the car. I have to have the house. I have to have this. And then I have value. So yeah, I said so much, bro, but this is such a great topic because you're asking. So you hit me in my core. Like I want to talk about
Yes,
this
sobrang
stuff.
ganda. Like,
So good.
there's a lot of free learnings here. No, na parang, I know it's not the, kahit na hindi yun yung umaggit ko sa'yo, but I love the sharing that you give kasi it gives value rin to those who are watching, and na parang, kahit ako parang I learned so much. And while you were saying that nga, parang doon ko naisip na parang being able to express what you feel is very important. Kasi yun nga, yung sinasabi mo that if you don't, then you break down at one point when you experience different life, either tragedies or things that talagang you won't be able to control your emotions. So being able to express them every now and then, if you're not really the type who is expressive, parang at least it's an exercise of being able to release something, di ba?
Yeah. I mean, brother, to lose a loved one and to not be able to grieve is one of the worst sufferings I've seen in my life. To lose someone you love so much and not know how to process that grief.
Yeah.
So that breaks my heart. So it's what ito yung sa akin, bro. This is what fuels me. To tell people, fathers with their children with their. That's why I love the programs that we do. When the children attend, they enroll their parents next. Sometimes it's the parents who attend, and then they enroll their children next. And then to see that exchange, and they say, Bam, hindi naman kami sanay ng ganito. Yeah, I know, hindi kayo sanay. But what is it that you want? It's not about kung anong nakasanayan natin eh. Like, I'm not used to saying I love you. I'm not used to hugging my children. Example lang like, yeah, but what experience do you want? It's not kung saan ka sanay. Well, I would love that they would remember their father as someone who hugged them, as someone who kissed them, as someone who told them, anak, I love you. And, and they felt it. That's something when we're long gone as parents, I think, bro, na our children will always remember, I felt dad. I felt dad's presence. Sure, dad was providing, but not just I felt dad. And I felt dad, at home and this. So, yun.
Yeah, yun. And I think going back to, what made you think about coming in, maybe helping people was really a big factor for you. But has it ever come to a point na parang, so it wasn't really about money. It wasn't, kasi for some people, when they go into a career, it's always money for them. So for you, it wasn't about money, considering that you were thinking about, you mentioned parang you were having difficulties with financials. So when you get,
yeah,
it wasn't really about money.
Oh no, brother, it was about money for sure also. I mean, that's how honest I can be. I mean, kasi naranasan ko na, Jeremy, that's why I got into becoming a financial advisor, a certified investment solicitor, a money blueprint planner, lahat inaral ko, because it was experiencing the pain of not having enough, scarcity mindset, and not knowing the mechanics of money either. So sabi ko, I've also learned, I think, in my journey, I thought before that money was bad, it was evil, that it was better that I did not have money. But bro, my son suffered for it. My past relationship, his mom suffered for it. I suffered for it. So I made a vow, sabi ko, I want to learn about life where I can be a human being who's experiencing joy and love, but I also have a lot of money. So, and I learned pwede pala ng both.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you know this as a provider. Sabi nga namin, you can't go to Meralco and you can't pay your bill with love. You can't go just say like, Meralco, I have so much love,
Yeah.
and can I just pay my bill with it? I mean, you can't. You gotta. Sorry.
You have to be practical. It's practicality.
You gotta be practical. So for me, it was about helping people, but also making money, because I saw a model where people were actually making a lot of money and helping a lot of people. Then I saw the correlation. But the more people that you help, the more money you would also make. But it also had to do with we talk about beliefs in the seminar, kasi bro, where you know you have a belief that are you even worthy of receiving compensation for what you. A lot of people, they feel unworthy, or they feel like it's a spiritual work where they shouldn't be charging. But I said, I've also explored that. But I said, hindi ka nga nag-charge. Ikaw naman ang namatay. Bakit? Naputulan ka ng kuryente, hindi ka makapagbayad ng renta. It's not honoring God to be in a space where you are in scarcity. Because God, I believe, has empowered you to be able to produce wealth. So it's also a mindset where, and it feels wonderful, because the more that you increase, the more that you have to share and bless other people with. Because I've experienced the opposite end of that, where I didn't have anything. It sucked. I never wanted to experience that again.
Is it being a life coach? Is it a challenging task wherein people expect so much that dumating ba yung point where you thought na would I be able to really help people na, and they expect so much from a life coach that when there's something that comes up that wasn't really parang hindi maganda, no? People think that being a life coach, everything in your life is working all the time. Is it?
No, absolutely not.
Challenge? Did you come to that point na medyo challenging for you because of those expectations?
Well, I think what has made my experience effective is whenever I do seminars, whether I also do seminars abroad, kasi before this lockdown, where my programs were also translated into Cambodian, in Thai, in Mongolian. And sabi ko, even if it's translated, what makes it effective is I don't talk about how great my life is. I never do that. But I talk about exactly what you said before we started. Like, what was your struggle? That's always been my story of how absolutely human I am in my pain, in my hurt, in my insecurity, in my fear of scarcity, in my fear of death, in my fear of people not liking me. And that's what always creates a connection with people. And that's what also lowers their expectation. Like, it has to be, and I've coached, for people who are saying, but Bam, you won't be coaching big business people. Well, I've coached, multi-millionaires, and and their company and their people. So I'm saying it works 100%. But you'll see it also. It's also what they're talking about in Harvard, in Yale, in Stanford. It's the science of well-being. It's the science of happiness. And like so Dubai having the Ministry of Happiness. Why are they creating a whole ministry for that? How important is it to be happy? So but I think once people we create expectations naman at the beginning. And my story is not, you're going to be successful like me. I've never ever used that line.
Yeah.
But I said, perhaps what I've been learning that's helped me ease my suffering and invite more joy and happiness, I just want to share it with you. And people become open. When, okay, you just want to share something that, and I say, if it's not helping you, then please don't use it, Yeah. But so far, naman, it's been helping a lot of people, So I've just been going and going and going.
And there's also a misconception na parang people think that if you're a multi-billionaire or a millionaire, you don't go through similar experiences as people who have less. Parang, in fact, sometimes it's more difficult for them to be able.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Diba? Kasi parang, and these people are very open to learning. Kaya nga they got there because they were very open to learning different experiences and maybe not all, pero a lot of these people are very open and very coachable in terms of how to, kasi wealth, they're good at it, pero minsan emotions, like you were saying, they're not, we are not, trained to be very expressive, diba? So it's really a
Yeah.
misconception.
A lot of them are having breakdowns. A lot of the very successful people. I mean, obviously, if I mention certain names, lang Jeremy, Kate Spade,
Yeah,
Anthony Bourdain. I mean, I could go on and on. Robin Williams. Yeah, there's more. Eh? So I understand some of them already had certain conditions, but I'm saying it has nothing to do with with IQ or your money IQ. But emotional quotient, adversity quotient is totally different. Eh?
yeah,
That's why that's one of the things I share. Sabi ko, intelligence is not wisdom. You can't confuse the two.
yeah,
Some people will say I'm very intelligent in how I handle my finances and grow my business. Sure, but I'm breaking down where I have affairs left and right. I'm taking drugs. I'm an alcoholic. My family is breaking apart, so they don't have the wisdom to know how to also handle life challenges.
yeah,
So those are two very different things. As a matter of fact, that's a very big market that I'm into now, which is helping CEOs and owners of companies to get through challenges.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the most challenging part of being a life coach for you?
I think being honest and authentic about my own challenges. Yun lang naman yun eh. That's why I always tell people, like, every seminar, and even in my life, if you watch, I just say I'm journeying just like you. I feel insecure just like you. I feel angry just like you. But to be able to, I think, to be forgiving of myself when I go through those times where I might experience some depression, which I still do, some low energy. When ito nga mahirap, Jeremy. Like, why would you experience depression when you have money, when you have health, when you have family? Well, sometimes it's not even about that growing. And I think that's what gets more people depressed. They're saying, why am I depressed? I have no reason to be depressed. And then they judge themselves. Then I say, but they don't get to hear that message. Eh. Sometimes there's no reason, but you just feel it. And again, that's where I come in to help people. But ako, to be able to be authentic and say, but it's also beautiful. I feel it's what brings me closer to God. It's what allows me to have the most sincere and authentic prayer, when I'm very down. And I say, God, I really need help. I really need support. I've been expressing so much gratitude and love. Now I feel like life sucks. I'm having a hard time. I don't like this. And you feel it physically, the depression.
Yeah,
Pagising mo, kala mo na wala na, it's still there. Hindi ka makatulog. I actually went through a bit of that during the lockdown. Like, there were times I couldn't sleep anymore because this whole thing was also getting to me. The lockdown and the closure and this. So, ano din ako, like, it's roller coaster. Eh. It's a roller coaster. But what I tell people, I'm grateful that I don't stay in the down part for such a long time. A lot of people where it's hindi lang 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, 20, they're still there. That's such a terrible place to be in. But to be able to cycle through like the seasons, it's great there. Yeah.
yeah. So yun nga, it's really difficult to like ako, I went through that, parang medyo na-feel ko rin. Siguro na-feel ko at the early stage wherein, yun nga, yung kinukwento ko sa'yo kanina when I was in Manila and then my family was here. I wasn't happy already. And it got to a point wherein even when I'm here, I felt like I wasn't happy. That's where it triggered me na parang, oops, something might be wrong. Kasi even when I'm here, the whole time, this whole time, I just wanted to be with my family. Pero nung every weekend when I come home, there's this different feeling na parang, hindi ako, it's a different feeling na I didn't feel before. Kasi dati when I was coming home, excited, masaya, it was an escape eh. Pero dumating sa point na parang, teka lang, hindi na, I felt different. So, and it's hard to explain as well. Kasi parang, why am I feeling this way? It's bigla lang, di ba? There's really no reason, pero you'll just feel it. And then,
And then, bro, I'll tell you. I mean, it's great to be talking about this for those people who are listening, because a lot of people, when they get to that space, bro, they feel shame, and they feel shame. Like, what, like, I'm a Christian. I'm a good father or mother. I shouldn't feel this way. And that's like one of the biggest lies that people will hear, in their self-talk. I should be grateful. But teka muna, before you go into that space, maybe acknowledge muna that maybe you're not grateful. Maybe you're feeling down. Maybe you're feeling low, right? And to give yourself permission to be human, to
Yeah.
feel that sometimes there's no particular reason. And sometimes you just need your wife to be there beside you to tap you or to hug you, to not even say anything. But maybe it's also important for you to have those moments as a human being to have that time and to not judge yourself for being in that space. But if you're able to get through that, kaya nga sabi ko, if you're able to get through that as a human being, it's important to be able to, in some capacity, share it or pay it forward. Because not everyone understands that process.
Yeah. Yeah. And so yun. And when you started doing this, what year did you start doing this professionally? 2012,
2012. Yeah.
2012. What did you have to go through to, transition to doing it professionally? Like, is there training that you had to attend, or is it?
Yeah, I went through a facilitator's training. I had my mentors. I had a life coach. I had a relationship coach. I had a money coach. I read a lot of books. I went to a lot of trainings. But it's not just about reading the books. Alam mo na din naman yun. I mean, a lot of people have mentors and went
Yeah.
through training, but it doesn't necessarily reflect. It doesn't mean that because you went through it, like there will be a change.
Yeah.
But I guess I just really desired it so much, and really wanted to grow myself that I was able to sustain it. But definitely, you have to put in the work. Dumaan din ako, bro. I was running out of money. I was doing another job at the time. I had to give it up sometimes to attend my facilitator's training. But I had the vision. I had the vision. Sabi ko, if I stay in my comfort zone, I'll never, 2 years, 3 years will pass. But then I would not have grown myself to have become a better human being, or to equip myself with skills or experience or knowledge. Ano mangyayari sa buhay ko nun? For those of you who are asking, like, should I go through training? Well, your 2 years are going to pass. What if you stay exactly the same? Your opportunities are going to be exactly the same, or maybe even less, if you're not growing yourself. So kaya I look back, sabi ko, I'm so grateful to God, because being able to be led in that path and to choose to grow, now, even with the lockdown, the opportunities I have are just endless. I mean, the lockdown has also given me so many opportunities to work with so many people all over the world. But I couldn't have done that if I did not choose at the time to go out of my comfort zone, which was just, me making a certain income, feeling safe. But I was not growing as a human being, as a person, right? Kaya nga, those who are listening, if you're still on the fence of should I grow, attend this, but if you have an intention to allow yourself to grow and make yourself better, I'll tell you, yung payoff, it's not just times 10, it's not just times 1,000. It's really such an exponential return. You never regret it. You never regret it.
Actually, it's one thing I love about leadership trainings, but like, you get to expose yourself to different things that you weren't aware of before. What I love about these types of trainings, the trainings that you are conducting, and then the trainings that I've attended before, na parang raise my awareness about myself so much na parang
Yeah.
you understand yourself better. Why am I feeling this? Bakit ko naramdaman to? And then how to react to it? How to do what's the next steps, di ba? And yun pa lang, it's a big it's a big step already. It's a big help already for people like us. So what you do, yun nga, sabi mo, ang maganda doon sa sinabi mo talaga is really, you don't pretend, as a life coach, you don't pretend to be perfect. Everything's perfect. Everything's working. But the challenge has always been being able to show that it's not perfect.
And it never will be.
Yes, it's not gonna be perfect talaga. But being able to accept that and understand what to do about it is something that really you have to go through it, diba? So really, marami kang matututunan in trainings like these na what do you like yung sa'yo, because I've attended before mga transformational training, yung sa'yo ba is it similar?
Yeah.
Like transformational rin ang tawag?
Yeah, yeah, we just call it it's still a transformational weekend. We only put that label so that or growth seminar, so that people have this. But like I said, what I just do is I just create a space where people can go and experience transformation in their lives. Ibig sabihin, whatever you came in for, whether it's for health, but mostly it's relationship and knowing myself and understanding myself, or maybe it's I thought maybe it's for finances or career direction, or maybe it's spirituality and God.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that people come in for, I just create a space for that. They did it just happens for them when they're in that space.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, yun. Siguro, let's segue na to what are currently do you have programs that you are offering online or
yeah. Oh, well, thanks for asking. I mean, I have a program, my live programs, it's called Unbounded. And I think the first month of the quarantine, I adjusted it and I learned along the way. And I created an online program, Unbounded Online. It's 5 days of people connecting. It's not 5 whole days, but it's 5 sessions where people from all over the world. Like last batch, I had participants from New Jersey, from Florida, another batch mga taga Iloilo naman that I worked with. And sabi ko nga I never would have realized the power of virtual connections like this. Like I'm just seeing you through a screen, but I feel your emotion. I can see, the nuances of your nonverb. It's the same. Just going through fighting to you. So that's what Unbounded is. But we have frameworks for change. Aside from Unbounded Online, yeah, I have a one-on-one online coaching program where you get to work with me as your coach for a few sessions. So that's one-on-one, scheduled online. And we talk about framework for change. We talk about specific issues that you want to work on. So the past 3 months, I've been working on relationships, mindset, people who are struggling with pleasing other people, how to break those patterns, insecurities, inferiority, finding meaning and purpose in life. So I do that as well. Plus, I also have an online coaches training program if you want to be a life coach or you want to help people the way similar to what I'm doing. I also offer that as well in another package. So basically, that's what I've been busy with. Yung Unbounded pala, I do it for public, also for corporate.
Yeah.
Your,
so your Facebook
bro.
page again is what? So sorry, it got chopped.
Yeah, please follow me on my Facebook page, Bam Santiago. On Instagram, I'm Bam Santiago 888. I'm not mistaken. I think I forget, but you'll see my link naman sa page ko.
I'll link it on the
And then yeah, Bam Santiago 88 pala, 88. Yeah. So yeah, please follow me in my social media. I'm also on YouTube, although not as active, but I'm getting there. So please follow me.
All right, sige. Bam, thank you. Thank you so much. There's so much learning talaga that I got as well from this. Hindi lang for the audience, but ako mismo, I learned a lot from this session. Learned about you, your experiences, and your programs, which I'm sure would be beneficial to the people who's going to be attending your sessions. So I'll link all those things na yung mga page ni Bam on the caption of this video so that you can check him out. He goes live rin from time to time, and you may ask questions about anything to Bam. So thank you, Bam. That's it for Thursday Talks. We'll see you again next week for another guest or another video about maybe financials naman. We'll see what we can create next week. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this session.